Good evening. Now that we know that this cable is loose and needs a bit of adjustment, we'll go on with the repair. Um, First, I want to draw your attention to this zip tie here. Let me just zoom in a little. You see this zip tie? There are zip ties all over this car. There are zip ties holding wiring harnesses together. There are zip ties holding the brake lines in the wheel wells attached to various metal parts in there. And in this case, we have a zip tie holding the steel throttle cable to its bracket. The fun fact about this is that the early cars didn't have any zip tie here. This only started becoming commonplace after Jaguar had a formal recall in 1998, where certain owners would actually have this cable pop out of the bracket here and become completely loose, clearly endangering the occupants if this happens during the course of actually driving on the road. So Jaguar issued a recall. They didn't really redesign the bracket in any way. It's just they added a zip tie. That was the solution. And interestingly, cars built after that recall, chances are that they come out of the factory with the zip tie already in place. So for me to do the adjustment, I'll have to cut the zip tie. And once we're done, to be safe, I'll need to zip tie that again. I have a couple of new zip ties here that I will use. And yeah, then we should end up with a nice and snug throttle cable and a fresh zip tie holding it together to the bracket. So let's keep going with the repair. Now currently the butterfly plate inside the throttle body can retract fully. You can hear it. And what I don't want is I don't want to over tighten the cable where it pulls the plate out of its sort of starting fully retracted position. So what I would like to do is I would like to mark this current position and basically make sure that I don't stray away from it as I'm tightening. And to do that, I've prepared a couple of tape pieces. Now I don't know if this would work well. I hope it does, but it is kind of cold, and these plastic, I just don't know if this tape would hold well enough and long enough onto the plastics under the current conditions, but we'll see. I mean, it's better than nothing. All right, so I have the two pieces of tape in place, and I will now mark. I mean, they're not overly close to each other, but I'm going to eye this anyways. So I'm going to mark here, and I'll transfer this over on this side. There we go. Now from my vantage point here, which is a bit different than the camera, these are perfectly straight. So I'll keep them there, and we can start with the actual adjustment. Now, first thing, we'll probably have to cut this, and let's hope that I don't drop it. Don't have a good way to grab it with the scissors. Almost there. There we go. I'll just finish the cut. Okay. The original zip tie is out. Just put it to the side here. Now this should allow me to pull out the bracket. There it is. Yay! That was easy. Okay. And now I need to tighten, so the cable needs to move back. This needs to move forward. I just did one full rotation. This may be too much. Actually, this looks okay. It's tighter. And the marks do line up just as they were. Even though I do not hear the plate retract fully. So this is probably a bit too tight. Let's pull it back out again. I'm going to go 1/4 of a turn the other way. Put this back in. Okay. There it is. This may be what I need. I'll go inside and give it a try with the pedal to see how the pedal feels. There is still a very slight play at the beginning, but it's very minor. I am inclined to leave it like this, and I will check it now with the OBD2 scanner to see what the computer reads in terms of throttle position. And then I'll go from there in terms of adjusting it further, potentially one more 1/4 turn tighter or not. It's either going to stay like this or get a little bit tighter if the computer allows for that. All right. I went back and I tightened the cable one more 1/4 turn, essentially ending up at the position where from the starting point to now, the difference is an entire turn of the sort of little square piece that is on the cable. So I made one full turn. That's where it is situated now, and I'm in the car. I have the OBD scanner connected. I'll energize it now with the ignition. Let's connect and we'll see what the readings show. The pedal itself, there's no more slack in it. I don't feel any looseness at the beginning, which is a good sign. All right, we're fully connected. Dashboard, throttle position, 627. Oh, changes a bit, 627, 588. But that is more or less the starting point where we were before the adjustment. So that's good, meaning I have not over tightened the cable. Now, as I press the pedal a little bit, clearly the reading increases. Letting this go, back to that value, kind of jumps up and down a bit. All right, now pressing all the way down. There it is, 100%, beautiful. Full open throttle. If I let this go a bit, there we go. Now press back. Yeah, the moment it touches the floor, the reading changes to 100. So I think we're right on in terms of final end point, 100% point, as well as the starting point, which has not changed from the previous setting, which is really what we want. We don't want to over tighten the cable and raise the idle. Essentially, what would happen is the idle would probably raise artificially, which is not something that I want. All right, what remains is for me to add the zip tie in the engine compartment, and this will complete the repair. All right, last step of the repair, we want to secure this square bracket so that it doesn't pop off and the cable stays in place. Let's see if the zip tie will be long enough. Hope it is. Yep, I hear the clicks, that's great. There it is. Yep. Now I have one more, and I'll X them, basically put it the other way around, even though I don't have as much free space on top now. And there we go, that would work. Yeah, this feels solid. It's not going anywhere. Trim these down. 1. 2. And I would say at this point the repair is complete. Removing the tape. We don't need these anymore. Of course, the one true verification will be when the car goes for a test drive. Then we'll know for sure. All right, have a good one.